Cheers.
Wait
We're recording.
Cheers. Wait.
Cheers, Channing.
Cheers. Good to see you guys.
I know how to properly address the winemaker himself who brought his wine to enjoy with all of us.
He didn't bring that shit. He didn't bring that.
I didn't want to check a bag, and I'm only going to be here for an hour, so, it is what it is.
Fuck you laughing for? I can feel her smile behind me. I can feel her smile. Hold on.
Kelsey, you can come say hi.
Come on, Kelsey.
You should.
Come on, the workout partner.
Kelsey, our friend Kelsey.
Hello. It's great to be here.
Yes.
Lots of people have made debuts on Road Tripping many times.
You can sit in this chair because it's being occupied by someone that is not currently.
No, so
Allie, you know
okay.
what? Just me and you are going to.
You know what? Let's
No,
go.
wait, really quick. No, so Travis Michelson, that was my starting two guard when we won the state championship. One of my closest friends.
Years ago.
Yeah, one of my closest friends.
Everyone has a scrapbook.
Everyone has a scrapbook. Yeah, I understand.
That's a joke.
So I hired him to do my notes. So it's my So it's look, it's your best friend.
It's your game day.
Yeah, so it's your best friend. I was like, hey, bro, I'll pay for the NBA package for you. Give you X amount, couple $100 to do each game. He's like, bet. So, you get to help your people out, right? But, working with me is a fucking nightmare. So, like, half the time I forget the games. I'll text him on the day of. He's even on my schedule, but my schedule just keeps getting in and out. So he's on my schedule. I'm like, damn, I didn't get my notes from Trav today. I'm like, shit. I'm like, hey, Trav.
You didn't have a person at Espen that you just go, hey, these are the...
No, you have your notes, but he does my whole board for me.
Oh, the board.
He does my board for me, and then I study my board, and then like for big games, playoffs, he'll do like a one sheet stuff.
Yeah,
and then I have all the other stuff I study, but that's what I put in front of me that you look at for 38 seconds a game.
Welcome to this edition of Road Trippin with RJ and Channing. I'm Allie Clifton. That is called the roadmap to life. Figuring out what works best for you in your profession.
That was called outsourcing.
It is.
Outsourcing.
Outsourcing is the best,
Same
right?
thing.
Oh, it's the
It's like,
best.
Channing, we have kids, but we've outsourced the baby.
Yeah.
We outsource. We don't do that job.
You guys have outsourced. You outsource everything.
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 No, but I can't take full credit.
Actually, Channing does a lot by himself.
Yeah,
I'll be like, I'll look at my fridge and it'll be full, and I'll be like, do I want to clean this up? Do I want to?
No, the answer is no.
Come on over here, Grubhub.
So you guys are the ones that will put the cereal box back in when it's empty and just wait for the next person that comes in.
because
to throw it away?
that's lazy.
We're talking about like, I look at my house and I go, I could mow this lawn. Nah, not gonna do that.
Look.
So then who does
Everyone
it?
is busy, and there's a price for everything, right? I can do this and spend 3 hours of my time, or I could pay somebody else $50
Yeah.
to do the exact same. Maybe not 50.
So what do you do?
Make enough money to pay other people.
That's my. That is like, ladies and gentlemen.
He has his own
this
ecosystem.
this has been how many years we've been doing this damn 397
Speaking
episodes.
of, oh my
What?
God, great segue. You do something. I hate
You
when
said
those.
doo-doo.
I know. I hate when those words overlap. We are celebrating something really exciting. When you talk about the start of Road Trippin',
Yes.
what else overlapped with damn near the start of Road Trippin'?
Us
We
winning
were
a
in
championship.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You guys had won a championship, celebrating yet again. But we also partnered up at the time as well, back in 2017, with the wonderful company that I love, being an Ohio kid myself.
You.
Homage.
They're
And then I
back.
introduced Homage to the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
I know. When you guys won a championship, it got introduced to you. You're right. But this is the excitement. This is the announcement that we have. This is why Channing flew in for just 90 minutes to be with us.
All right.
That's what we do.
Because
That's what we do.
We have
It's not a big
launched
deal.
more merchandise. We are rocking more merchandise with Homage, as you see right here. Obviously, we're all rocking it. The gear, the hoodies, the tees, the crew necks. He's got the crew neck.
This is money here.
Yeah. I'm only here for the free shit. Does that not take you back to the first 97 episodes?
Or to how I live my day.
Day. Yes. That's the reason why we still
touche,
have a
wow.
podcast. We only have a
was gonna wear a
podcast.
Coors
The
Light shirt
NBA Jam,
just to-
if Richard would get his size correct, you would be able to.
First of all, it's not even my sizing. First of all,
Why
this.
are you holding your boobs like that?
Well, because normally I'm like a B cup. I haven't been lifting. Right now I'm an A. What? First of all, come on, man.
You're an A.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways,
You shrink when you don't work out?
everyone does.
Tell us the secret. That's not how that
Opposite,
goes.
Richard, no.
What?
Your
Tell
boy
us your
was big
secret.
when I wasn't working out.
First of all, got big, bitch. You still big.
I'm a big human. This is natural.
Honestly, I'm proud of you. We were about to have an intervention. We were about
was
to.
tough.
We were
It
about
was a tough
to.
summer.
Yeah,
I
tough
thought
summer.
you were going to say, I'm really proud to be with Homage again.
I am.
I
I love Homage. This was the thing. I remember when we first started, and then obviously, life got crazy. But they've been
Starting with you getting traded.
Yes, they've been.
Released.
Yes, everyone's.
Released.
No, I got traded to Atlanta. Nice try. I've never been released before. Nice try, bro.
And
Nice
it was
try.
interesting because the last episode we did together was at Homage with
Was it?
Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder,
Yeah,
our
that's
live
crazy.
episode.
Where
at
I was
Homage.
sitting there talking, knowing that I was gone. That's why when people were asked like trade, like, what is it like during trade? Fucking grow up. You got the 1st and the 15th. That's the only thing that matters, not the trade deadline. The tomorrow does not matter. The 1st and the 15th are the only thing that matters in this league.
Oh,
I've had good trade deadline trades, and I've had one where I was like, well, this sucks. I got traded to Cleveland on the trade deadline, and then
I'm
I got
so
traded
sad.
to the Lakers on the trade deadline.
that was it?
Yeah.
We're going to dive into it, but first, homage.com/road trippin for all of your gear. We're super excited to continue to grow with them. We love the Homage family.
They're the best.
So yeah, hit them up. Super excited. Trade deadline actually is as we are recording today. No, as this drops, the trade deadline
They don't have
is
to
going
know.
on and
They don't have to
happening.
know. They don't have to know.
Well, that's how it's going to work.
Okay, perfect.
And I actually say that just for the two of you.
Ah, okay,
So when
okay,
you're
okay.
talking,
Okay.
remembering that it's coming out the day of the trade deadline. What is that like? What does your families do?
Oh,
How hard is that?
His situation is different. Like Lauren will fucking go into like a cut the world mode. Yeah.
What does that mean?
meaning she's like, take these bags with you because I know you're going on a private jet. And then we've moved so much, right? From house to house or like, team to team. Like, I think I lived in my 14 years in 15 houses. So like after the championship, we were renting a house. That lease was up. And we were like, okay, the house is too little. So I had to find another house. And then it's like, oh, hey, you're getting traded the next year, or you don't know if I'm coming back. So why would we have the lease? And then, I signed with Cleveland again. I thought it was going to be in LA. And then it was like, okay, now I'm going back home to Portland. My house gets remodeled. We had to stay somewhere else. And then Phoenix, we moved every single year. But getting traded on trade deadline with a 9-month pregnant wife and finding out you have an appendix issue is not the jam.
Okay, this is the thing. What do you say to those people? Because it's real. They'll always say they get paid millions of dollars, but I don't think people understand there's more than just you involved. Like, what is
Richard,
that?
Let me just say this. The fans want you to shut up when you get traded, but then they're like, well, you're not loyal when you're here. You can't have both. If you want guys to be loyal to the city, or do you want them to act like businessmen? Because if you act like businessmen, if you get traded, it's part of the business, it's all good. But if you're like somebody really, like Bobby Portis, for instance, dove into the Milwaukee community, loves it
Dove in
there.
it.
Yeah. And then,
No idea what that was.
and then,
Just dive in it.
yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, Golly. But then now he's like in trade rumors. They were saying like people in the organization have to figure out what to do because everyone loves him so much. So who do you bring him in for? Like, those are just things you got to deal with. And let's say you like the city and you want to be there and you get traded, and everyone's like, "Oh, suck it up." You're like, "Man, fuck this place."
Well, this is the thing. It's what we signed up for. It sucks. It sucks. There is a positivity to the suck. Sometimes you can get traded to a shitty team. Sometimes you can get traded to a team and you win a championship and you're a final piece. Everybody has a different situation. The way I look at it is more of, I was lucky because my kids were very, very young. So it was like moving was easy. There wasn't schools. There wasn't best friends. There wasn't that. I know Chris Paul lived without his family for a while. One of the things when people talk about all the money you have is, let's say this. Let's give you guys a fun story. Whenever we sign a lease, let's say October, right? Because you're going to be ready for season. No one's letting you sign an NBA season lease. They're making you sign a year lease, even if you're going to be there for 7 months. That's just part of it. Do you know what was really fun? The person whose home I rented in Ohio, he doesn't give a shit. I had signed a lease because I was supposed to be there for a year and then got traded right after training camp. Guess what I had to do? I had to pay that entire year. I had to pay that entire year.
Oh.
Now they were like, well, if somebody else wants to use it and you try and do this stuff, so you try and work it, but the timing of it, and then there's somebody coming in, and it just becomes a very, very thing. So it's just like you got to take that hit. Now, part of taking that hit was I went to Atlanta. They waived me, paid me, went to another team, got paid double, right? So it was like you end up.
So you use that money to pay your.
Well, yeah, I think I still made out on the positive, but it was no. But I'm more saying that it's like the people understand your job is to perform. It's harder to perform at the highest of levels when you're moving cities, you're traded, you're going to a new team, you're learning a new system, your family's not there, you're dealing with a ton of stuff off the court as far as infrastructure and making sure everybody's okay. And then it's like, go play basketball at the highest level. That shit's hard. It is hard. And that's not, but that's part of it.
How do you play really hard for a team when it's not just your teammates, because you're in it, but like your family is probably texting you every day. Oh, you're in trade rumors. They're saying you're going to go here. They're saying you're going to go there. And then you're looking around at these guys that are supposed to be like, your professional brothers, like DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, like how they're playing the way they're playing is impressive to me. They're being super professional. There's other guys that have been like, well, I'm getting traded. Let me shut me down.
I never played for the name on the front of the jersey, ever. Never.
Interesting.
Never played. Like, jersey, while I was there, because we were the start of it, there was a lot of pride in what we had started, the New Jersey Nets. That was a lot of pride. That was the only team that I ever had pride for the front of the chest.
But you were also young and dumb.
No, but I'm saying, though, I was there they drafted me. I was there for 6 years. We went to the NBA Finals. Like, we built a fan base that had no fans. So it was like there was some pride into that. But after that, it was always about the name on the back of the jersey. It's about like how I represented myself, whatever, that bullshit. But I will say this. One thing that I learned, I think I figured this out in San Antonio, is like, it's not about your situation that dictates your success. It's how you handle your situation. So you can get traded and be grumpy and be pissed off, but then the minute you get traded and you're like, hey, this is what it is. This is what I signed up for. You want the NBA. This is a part of the NBA. Like, go enjoy it. And so once you kind of change your mindset, but it's hard to perform at a high level during the process and then after the process of trying to figure it out. But then it's still just basketball.
So you weren't traded. You chose Orlando?
Yes, idiot, fucking idiot.
What? No. So
they gave him 38 cents more, and he was like, "Yeah, 30."
No, I got a lot more. Actually, like I think 6 million more. So here's a real story. During free agency, I talked to Phoenix. We had won 48 games that year. I'd come back from my heart, and I said, "Hey, I want to stay in Phoenix. I've been here 5 years. I like this young team. I don't need to I don't need to start." And because, I'll come off the bench so that Markieff can start. We already talked about it. I just want to stay in Phoenix. I'm like, I'm happy here. I finally found a house. Everything was clicking. And they were like, all right, we're going to offer you 16. And I go, guys, all I want is the going rate. And I'll even take less for the going rate.
To stay home. Which was, again, an idiot move.
So instead, I said that to them on the side. So free agency comes. I'm in LA with Rob Pelinka. Orlando's in his office. Like, hey, Channing, you're a guy. They go through who's on their team, what system they want to run, what's going on, and they offer me a certain number.
What was the number? It's public knowledge.
It's too late now. They offer me like 28.
28. Yeah.
Right?
Orlando.
So I said, oh, shit. So Griff was on a call too and goes, hey, I want you to come to Cleveland, but you got to wait 3 or 4 days. And I was like, shit, who's in Cleveland? I was like, damn, this is before.
Did you say who is in Cleveland?
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there yet.
Oh, this was,
I was about to say, what do you mean?
He wasn't there yet. Neither was Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like, that year?
That year, yeah, because I was in Orlando for a year and a half. So I was like, Griff, I'm sorry. I was like, I can't wait 3 days I don't even know he didn't tell us what was going on. So I was like,
hang on. You didn't have any sense of what was going on?
No one did.
Whole world,
no.
world.
But not on, because this was, I imagine this was probably July 1st.
Yeah.
So this was like July 1. You got like, there's July 1, July 2.
July 11th.
Exactly.
so you
11
wanna
days.
do-
Yeah,
listen,
Bron's a piece of shit for that. Do you understand? Bron, look, I stand
somebody
by.
has 30 million and they're like, just wait for me. And I'm like, fuck, y'all,
Yeah.
I'll see you when I see you.
No, but it was the same with like Kawhi Leonard did that the one year where, and it was like nothing happens until the first domino falls. And Bron knows that. Bron's like, July 11th, I'm going to pick. Do you understand? All of free agency got held until July. If they had the smallest of chances of getting him, July 11th is when free agency really started. Once he picked, then all the other dominoes fell. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, but you got to make that decision on like the second, third. How about this? That year, I almost went to Miami. So when I was, Fizdale was in Miami. He's like, dude, we want you to come here. We want you to back up Bron, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. He was talking to me a little bit and I was like, yeah, I'll come back up Bron in Miami, whatever. I promise you, I was like, it was more of like a casual conversation. Would you come here? Would you back up Bron? At that point in time, I was kind of like on minimum contracts as a veteran minimum. So I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll go do that. Like a week and a half later, they signed Danny Granger and then Bron left. And I was like, thank God.
And then you came to Cleveland.
No, I played in Dallas. I played for Dallas
That's
that
right.
season. Right, I played for Dallas Dallas that season. That was his first year in Cleveland because they thought he was coming back. Yeah. So they thought Bron was coming back. They signed Danny Granger to be his backup. He leaves to go to Cleveland on the 11th. So I'm like, thank God I did not take that deal to go to Miami. So I'm in Dallas. I'm cool. I'm happy. The very next year, that's when they call me. All right, well, I was supposed to go to Dallas, and then I stay in Dallas, and the very next year I go to Cleveland. But I was close to going to Miami. I'd had conversations with going to Miami to back up Bron in Miami.
The dominoes and how they had to fall for the three of us to be sitting right here.
Dude, it's crazy. So,
wow.
To finish that story up, Orlando's in there. We go, hey, we're going to take one call, and we call Phoenix. We're like, Orlando has 30 on deck. So they were like, no, we can't go above 16. And I was like, based on this, and we had all the numbers of where I was statistically, didn't miss a game. I'm like, dude, minimum, I'm a $24 million guy.
Say it again. Say that shit with
For sure, at the time. This is a long time ago.
No.
Right.
Say it, bro.
Relax.
Yeah.
He's only here for the free shot.
Yeah.
So they were like, no, we can't do it. And then they end up signing Isaiah Thomas. Goran called me. He was hot when he found out. So Orlando, it wasn't just the money. It helped. But it was like, I thought we could replicate what happened in Phoenix when you had Vooch, Victor Oladipo, Tobias Harris,
y'all had a little squad.
The team was, but like,
they're on the come up.
Structure was crazy.
Was it coaching? What was it? No, I'm
Who'd
just
you
joking.
have? Who was there?
And like you trying not.
Oh.
Scott Skiles was the second year, and hey, he is awful to play for, but he is an awesome person.
He's fucking hilarious. He's hilarious.
He's the best. He goes, God, we can't even make layups. This is no joke. Every day we did 35 minutes
defensive drills.
Yes.
I had him in Milwaukee.
Layups.
And
so right hand, left foot, right hand, right foot, right hand underneath left foot. Like, and then you had to jog for like 15 minutes back and
that
forth.
was your warm up. And then you had to do the closeout drill.
Every foot, right hand, left foot, right hand, right foot, right hand, one slide, left hand, one slide. Dude, I was like, yo, I said, Skiles, man, my ankle, you tearing my ankle figments. What are they called?
Figments?
The ligaments. You tear my ligaments.
Your ligaments are figments of your imagination.
Skiles was cool because at a certain point, I said, Skiles, this ain't it. I said, this ain't it. Like, there's nothing working here. Because the young guys, there was no, and we had Aaron Gordon at the time, there was no guy that they were like, you're the man, everyone else goes. So they were like, everyone gets to eat freely. You can't do that with a young team. You need a leader. You need like the guy that is going to. They brought you in
for veteran leadership, but this is why you always. I know.
I was like, yo, let's do this. They were like, nah, we don't do that here. I'm like, what do you do?
This is people. This is why you always take the money.
Take the money.
If it's 22 to 24, if it's a gap, take the money.
Would you have taken a pay cut to stay in Cleveland that year?
Pay cut? I was making fucking minimum. I can't make. I legally, per our collective bargaining agreement.
Situations like that, would you?
Yeah, if it was like you understand. But this is the bullshit. On a championship, nah, you don't take no. On a championship, don't tell me that like, hey, your market value is 5, but we can only give you 3. Griff tried to do that shit too. Griff tried to do me. He's like, listen, Rich, if you take a minimum contract, and this is why you always take the money. He goes, hey, Rich, if you stay here on a minimum contract, like I want you to be like our James Jones. I want you to be here. Like we'll do this, whatever. Because it was going to save him a ton of tax dollars. That's part of the reason why I had to go. But I was like, Griff, I can't do that. That's when the cap went up. There's all this stuff. So they gave me like a portion of like the veteran or of the mid-level. So I got like 2.5, which was, I was like, I've out-earned my, like kind of like Jeff Green when they won the championship. I've outworked my a minimum contract. And he recognized that. So I did it. And then Griff was gone the next year. So it was like, so that guarantee was gone because Griff was out. And then it was kind of like, if I wouldn't have taken it, so I ended up making out. But the point to bring this thing full circle is the free agency, the taking the money, the trade deadline. It's complicated, but we're so blessed to still do what we do. So that's why people don't ever want to hear how complicated it is to go traded from Orlando to Cleveland to go win a championship. People don't care.
Okay, well, we're going to bring it all full circle. Thanks for those moments and stories
What's that-
from the
what's-
both of you. I would have never guessed it.
What's that wine taste like?
That's what happened.
It tastes like an old lady fart.
As
My favorite.
Is that the flavor? That's the flavor?
disgusting.
Yeah, Metamucil.
Oh, disgusting.
Tastes like menopause.
In real time,
Wow.
I actually was going to ask you guys if you felt like this trade deadline was going to be really quiet. By the way, shout out to Candace Parker. She just announced that she's returning to the Aces for one
about
more
time.
year. She got a little homage package.
There we go. We love you, Candace.
I believe that's what it went away.
Can I
But
say?
there has been a move.
Who happened?
Memphis. No, I'm sorry. The Memphis Grizzlies are trading
John Morant?
Xavier Tillman to the Boston Celtics
For who?
for 2 second-round picks.
Oh, tight.
Second round picks.
That's huge for the
Second
Celtics.
round picks are the new change, right? That's like how is $1.75? I just keep the change.
Does Tillman offer anything for you
What?
guys
Yeah.
that helps the Boston Celtics?
Fuck yeah.
He plays Tillman. I don't
Big
know.
guy, he's solid.
I'm saying it's
And
kind of like
he's
a
just another big. You have Al Horford and Porzingis.
older, banged up. You want another,
now
yeah.
You could say, hey, Xavier Tillman, he's a serviceable guy. Give me 8 to 14 minutes sparingly, and then when you need to play, he's
He ain't playing no 18, 14 minutes on that team. Bet.
bet a case of wine. But also, you see, Memphis is just gathering up
Assets.
assets.
Okay, so do you guys? Is it going to be quiet? What are we?
I think in big names, I think it's going to be quiet, but I think there's going to be teams that make subtle changes.
That create a big.
I think. Well, here, I'll start with this. The teams that I think need to make ripples.
Yeah.
I think the Kings do. I think the Warriors do. I personally think that the Dallas Mavericks do. All those mid-level teams. And who's my last one? I think Orlando needs to.
Do we still feel the same about the Warriors? That discussion that we had that has brought us here today in person, after especially how Klay Thompson was the other night.
I fuck with Klay.
Excuse me?
I said I fuck with Klay.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say this. After watching them, Klay's had some good games, had some bad games. I don't think Klay's, I don't want to say not the issue. I think Klay's just going through ups and downs like any other player. I think if you can bring somebody in, they were talking about maybe moving Wiggins to Dallas or Wiggins to Milwaukee. If you can bring in some other players, they're not really running their same system to me. They're trying to, but it's kind of weird with Kuminga balling out right now. So you don't want to hamper his progress because you're going to need him, but you also want to win most of these games, which comes and goes.
Him not getting his contract done, whether he has an elevated sense of his value, whether he's not trying to take a discount, whatever it is, they offered him a contract. The contract didn't get done. He's mad. He wants his money. He wants his value. I think that's affected his play. Draymond being in and out for the first 2.5 months of the season, and we've seen the numbers when he's in there, that has messed with him, right? Because Klay doesn't have the exact burst, so he needs the system to be intact. He needs the system to be intact for him to go to that. He's shooting 37% from three and averaging 18 a game, and we're sitting here talking about Klay's washed. What the fuck? Do you know how hard that is to average 18 points a game on 37%? And my thing is this. If Draymond was there and his contract was done, that would be 20 at 39%. Like, we make it seem like these things aren't like fluctuated. Draymond missed the whole first half of the season, the in and outs, the suspensions, the bullshit, no rhythm whatsoever. They started off 6-2. Remember that part. And then all of a sudden the suspensions, then Klay doesn't get his contract. So now he's feeling he's feeling a certain way about his own organization that he has won 4 championships for, that he is the reason why there are a lot of the success that they have had, that trio. So he's feeling a certain way, and I think mentally and emotionally that can start to weigh on you. But Klay's going to get his money in free agency. But he's also probably annoyed that he's got to wait to free agency because someone's going to offer him, and then they're probably going to match it or come close to it, right? There's going to be, because we know a lot of people would love to have a 6'6" shooter on. And yes, he's not Klay from 7 years ago, but he's still better than 95% of the league. That's just the truth. The skill that he offers, what he does, and his experience.
So you're the opposite of what your guy Perk has been saying. You think he's going to stay with the Warriors?
Oh, well, I think Perk is Perk. He's trying to get. He might be having some agendas to get him some certain places and stuff. And I say that in a funny way, but I mean, like, you know, Perk will look at it from a space of like, I don't believe this situation works. You know where he should go, like that type of spots, right? And so I think certain people look at it with different eyes, right? And they were like, oh, you're not going to trade Klay, and you're like Warrior fans, be careful. Be careful. All this like, oh, we should do this, we should do that. Look, you got Steph. Prior to Steph in this stretch and Klay, and we saw what happened when Steph and Draymond were there and Klay was out. There was no championship. They were in the play-in. They weren't doing anything.
This was a championship team.
God, no.
Okay. Warriors 11th, 22 and 25.
No, but I'm saying though, but when Klay came back his first year, they won a championship. Like Klay is as important.
Was also playing his best.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone wants to look at Klay like he's the reason why their team is struggling. It's like Wiggins forgot how to play basketball, right? And it's like, and I say that like in the sense of like the dude was an all-star. Wiggins, without any injury, is having his worst season since he entered into the league. And we're over here talking about Klay? We're over here talking about Klay?
Well,
Come on.
It's just different because Klay's inconsistency is not what we've seen. And we always think, and this is not always going back to LeBron, but we've seen guys like KD and LeBron and a lot of these guys who've had big injuries come back and have sustained success over a period of time. We are now seeing, after watching Klay in person, he is still missing that little extra burst. He was never a one-on-one guy.
No.
But he could straight line drive. Now, he's not affecting the defensive end as much as he was, which happens. And offensively, they're struggling because they have no one that really is a rim runner. They have no height. They have no length, where now he's even getting a remotely open shot. Like, teams are built to beat the Warriors now.
Well, this is also, understand this. They messed up on Wiseman.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Moody. Kuminga is playing well of late, playing his best basketball.
Yeah.
But part of that is because they're in a tough spot. He's the freshest, the youngest, and he's getting better. He's earning these minutes. But I would not look at Kuminga currently as like a winning player.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Not yet. Not at. So the way he's playing is outstanding, but the way he's playing is not generating wins, right? Because it's not just his. It's not just him.
I'll give you an example. Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine can ball and is super talented, but when he's by himself, you know he does not win. He had never won 4 games in a row.
And that's no knock.
Style of play.
And that's no knock. But let's look at all of the things. You mess up on those drafts, right? And again, maybe when you relook at it, you're like, who could we have taken? We took the obvious choice, but Wiseman didn't pan out. And it doesn't look like he's panning out other places. It's not like he just needed to be in a fresh spot. Right. So you have Wiggins that has struggled heavily, worst season ever of his career. Draymond has been suspended and has been the talk of the NBA since the start of the season. He's doing a better job of keeping his shit together. No, but I'm saying those two guys. So let's look at those two. Your draft picks your high draft picks didn't work out or not in the manner in which you thought they did. So it's like from an organizational standpoint, from a situational standpoint, all of these things, and Klay is a part of that. So, but I just don't think that Klay is the reason why the Warriors are struggling. And the last thing I'll say about this entire situation is that the entire league is playing at the Warrior pace from 8 years ago, and they can't play at their pace today, right? So when you have all of these teams, that was the thing. They would outrun you, outshoot you. So they could turn over the ball, but they were going to hit 8 more threes than you. That was just the way they played. Now, every team has done that, and every team is younger, and every team now has a better infrastructure. Yeah. That's not what the Warriors been. They got KD. They lost KD. They brought in young guys. Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was supposed to be the future, but for whatever reason, that locker room didn't work out. Jordan Poole was supposed to be one of these guys that helped usher in the new one. It's so funny when you watch teams like this and their fan bases that get used to success. Look at the Patriots. Look at the Patriots right now after 20 years with Tom Brady. No, I'm saying after 20 years with Tom Brady. Look at the Chicago Bulls after their stretch with Jordan. They've never been to an NBA Finals.
Damn, that's 40 years ago.
But I'm saying they've never been to the NBA Finals.
I know.
They haven't been
It's
to the NBA Finals in 40 years. Yeah, so, when Jerry Krause is like, oh, teams win, or like, management wins championships, not players. And it's like, that has still haunted them 30 years later. So I'm saying it's like, enjoy.
He wasn't completely wrong, though, when he said that.
No, he is fucking wrong. Who?
He's not completely wrong.
Who?
Man, the people that put the team together help win championships.
They help.
Yeah.
But they are not the reason why.
Okay.
That's what he said. He said the reason.
Oh, then never
There's a
mind.
difference between
Why are
they
you getting
help.
so aggressive?
Because I don't fucking like that type of shit bothers me, man. It's
Why
like
do you have so much jewelry on right now?
look, I'm gonna say this. I'm part of the reason why I'm hungover. ROB, we love him. Fan of the pod.
Squirrel.
He invited me to the Bob Marley premiere.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
I'm fucking dusty, bro. I am dusty.
How did you put all your words together?
Look, there was a lot of micro and macro dosing. It was a lot of things going on. I'm just saying.
Must have been a plume of smoke.
No, it actually wasn't. It wasn't like it was very respectful because like all of his, like Ziggy, all the guys were there. I don't know if she was there, but all of the family, like a lot of the family was there. Brad Pitt was there. It was like he's one of the producers on the film.
Did you meet Brad Pitt?
I did not meet Brad Pitt.
Have you met Brad Pitt?
I don't know if Brad Pitt has met me yet. That's the way I view it, right? He hasn't had the pleasure.
BP.
So you're asking me, yes, I have slept. I woke up, took the kids to school, went back, talked to Alex, went back to sleep.
You were like this in the drop-off line at school?
Yeah.
The
drop. Get the fuck out. Get out. Don't forget your backpack. Yeah, and I'm out. Oh man, I didn't even take off my hoodie. I just put it on and got back into bed. You called me. It was like, hey, I'm just reminding. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna.
By the ocean. Why don't you just jump in?
Yeah,
the ocean?
cold plunge.
How about you go jump in the fucking lake? How about that shit?
Wow, it's not a lake, it's an ocean.
I don't live near a lake. I live near rivers.
Stop telling people where I live.
By the way, rivers and lakes, you are the same thing.
No, they're not.
Because rivers where we're from is not what you're on. Because you wouldn't buy a home on a river where we're from. So no, you live on a lake.
I live on a river.
That's a river.
Do you go swimming?
And
Do you get in the water?
I do at my place in Wilsonville. Yeah, not
Thank
in the
you.
city. That's
Yes, again, Channing's the
Thank
only
you.
person
It's that $28 million river.
Channing's the only person that has like two homes in Oregon, 30 minutes from each other.
46.
On a river.
Yeah.
One's
Both
closer
on a
to wine
river.
Country. It's great. It's
Nice
now
try.
our new tasting room.
Kind of speaking of wine country, really quickly,
Yes.
why is your name so low on this? So you're like third. You and Kevin, yeah, third and fourth. I'd switch up the branding immediately. Who the fuck is this Jacob Gray guy? Chase Benton. Why are their names first?
I don't know. It's just how it was. It doesn't matter.
Richard Microdose. Having said that, can we give some love to the Cavs?
Yes.
Besides the Clippers, which you're obviously going to call their game tonight, who have won 25 of their last
Maybe.
30. Number one in the Western Conference. The Cavs are the hottest team in the NBA right now. They're number 2 in the East. They've won 6 in a
They're
row.
the Clippers. They're the
less
Clippers
is
of the East.
Sometimes
Why are you
less
looking at
is
me like
more.
that? Oh,
Can we
Sometimes
say
what?
this? When Donovan Mitchell was with the Jazz, those
Well,
teams
they kinda are.
usually-
that's what I said. Why the fuck you look at me like that?
They kind of are.
They were usually 1 and 2. Donovan does very well when there's no other option. You go, oh, you need me to take us here? That's fine. But the issue is this number one, and them being great, is this conducive for them winning and going to the second round, the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't think so. So they're going to have to. I
The
would rather them
second
be-
round?
They got to get to the second round.
They have to
second
get
round.
to the second round as well.
There's-
They
yeah.
have to get to.
So this
That's
is
all?
this is like for them and the Knicks. Them and the Knicks are the
for
two
sure.
teams that have a chance to like sneakily get to a conference final.
Chance,
Yeah.
Because I'm not sold on. Obviously, I'm not sold on Milwaukee. I went on my rant the other day. Philly's hurt now.
Did you see the tweets about wanting to Fire Doc Rivers.
Already. Dude,
Already?
Okay, this
Come
is not true.
on.
But how funny would it be if he took that job just to get fired and collect that check and go back to ESPN and collect
He
that
ain't coming back to ESPN. He ain't coming back to ESPN. We don't need to go into details, but if he gets fired from the Bucks, his broadcasting days,
Well, you would say that about his coaching.
he
days,
could
but
go. He
still-
probably go to Turner. He go to
No,
Turner.
no.
Turner. No. Doc is a legend, but ultimately, like, he chose coaching over broadcasting, and that's I think a good place for him.
Okay, the Cavs.
I just think they can dominate a regular season. Donovan has showed this in Utah. He's showing it now. He has a big man who can rim roll. He has vets who can shoot or are simple. The issue is what happens when you put other talent around him. Can he and them coexist to be great in the playoffs? I'd rather them go 11-4 than 15-1 or 11-5.
Yeah, do your fucking math, bro. Fucking private school brophy
11-4.
bullshit.
No,
What?
St. Mary's. Don't ever say that. That's disgusting. St. Mary's, not brophy. Green, white, and gold versus white and red.
Channing, you're giving brophy.
Not a chance. Not a chance. My
What
brother Logan does.
Oh,
Big
shout out Logan.
Brophy is the like
The all-boys school.
Yeah.
It was our rival.
You went to an all-boys school?
Not a chance. I went to a school
He couldn't-
where girls wear skirts, like Britney Spears. in the high school.
look, they no. First of all,
Back in 99, 2000 and them? Oh, what?
Channing, the Me Too, slow down. The Me Too, slow down.
What? 'Cause that's the uniform. It was when Britney Spears came out with what's Oh Baby Baby. So all the girls had the high socks and they would roll their skirts up. And the dudes, we had to wear khakis and
Is that what it
dress
was
shoes.
like? Is that
Yeah,
that
it
what
is. No,
I
bro.
wanted to go to school. They're like, damn, Shannon, you ready to go to school? I said, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Why are you here so late? Don't worry about it. I'm here till the last person leaves.
Okay, so
Cleveland. I'm gonna stay on Cleveland. Anyways, no, Channing's right. I think
Man,
I've
the
said
second round though is all you need.
no. Why I
have-
say it is like, look, they lost in the first round. Remember, they were in fourth in the All-Star break 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they kind of stumbled because of injuries. How'd that work out for you? And then last year they made it to the postseason. It was a terrible matchup for them. You know, they added size, they added shooting, and so this year you got to continue progressing, right? You got to continue progressing, and I think their progression. Let's say, if they end up being 2-3, but I'm saying if you're
At some
two,
point, you got to have expectations.
yeah, but 2-3.
You add a guy like Max Strus. You have Georges Niang. You have what we're going to say still a very young, talented player that may have hit a little bump in his development, Evan Mobley. Then you have Jared Allen, who might be the second best big man in the Eastern Conference. Then you have Donovan Mitchell, who's going to be probably a first-team All-NBA guy again. So at what point do you put expectations on him? We can't be getting
no.
drugged in the first round.
Hear me out. You put expectations based off of who the fuck they're playing. If they were the 6 seeds and they got Milwaukee in 3, your expectations might be a little different. You get up to that 1, 2, 3 spot, which will probably not get to 1, but if they get up to that 2, 3 spot, you're going to get a 6, 7 seed. In Philly, we don't know what Philly's going to look like, so it's open for them.
That's where I wanted to go next. Does Joel Embiid play again this season? And 2, what is your take now on the 65 game rule?
First of all, and I want this to be cut and clipped
Dennis,
very
what did
quickly.
I say?
What?
He was going to ask first. Game
Fuck.
rule. There was
First.
going to be a moment.
Yeah. Listen. Stephen A said some things, some people said some things. I have never been more sick and tired, not of what they said, but of the narrative that it was the damn players. It was not the players.
No.
Speaking as a person that played 82 games 4 times, played over 78 games 7 times, it was not the players. Adam Silver got on that podium and said, he didn't say the players are doing this. He said the data doesn't support it. Where the fuck was the data coming from? The sports and science teams that were sitting guys out consistently, that were trying to validate their jobs. That's where all of this came from. When you draft a player and then you tell him to sit out, he sits out because the sports and science teams. I've sat in meetings with with young coaches that were like, well, we're going to do it. He's going to be on a minute restriction, and it's based off the sports and science team, not how the player is feeling. Even Kawhi Leonard said, no regulation is going to make me play more games. I'm coming off of multiple knee injuries. So my point is, the narrative that this was ever the players choosing to sit out, and if we're going to say LeBron James, he's 97 years old, right? He's 97 years old. But all the players were sitting out of healthy games, and players were doing... It was based off the team.
The NBA Finals 10 years in a row,
but
not including Olympics.
But
if my guy is sleepy in Memphis, let the motherfucker sleep.
But it's not about. It's not. But that's what I'm saying. It was
125 games a year.
It's not about Bron.
Don't sit out versus Memphis.
This is not about
Indiana.
This
sleepy in Memphis.
This is not about Bron.
The food and tryptophan.
Sorry, he's having a moment.
No, I'm just saying. It's like, what the fuck, man? I just get tired of people blaming the players and you getting paid in this. It was always the teams. You don't think the owners can come down and tell a player? You don't think that the head coach could tell a player? The sports and science teams were the ones that were like, oh, you've played 4 games in 5 nights and it's a lot and it's this and your load is too. I saw guys with hurt thumbs have minute restrictions. Your legs are fine, bro. Like, this is professional sports. And so it bothered me at a level that was so disgusting. Anytime they tried to blame the players for this, that part I had zero tolerance. And so now Joel Embiid, who really has had multiple knee injuries, he's been hurt all the time, not because he doesn't want to play basketball, but all the guys that were being told to sit out because of this and this and this. And even if they try and reference Greg Popovich, who was kind of a dick the way he did some of the things, but Greg Popovich had 3 guys that went to the postseason every single year, and Manu and Tony both had to play international basketball for their countries. It was mandatory. So he would try and find ways because he was contending for a championship for 20 years. So it's just like the narrative that this had anything to do with the players, and now the players get penalized for this to a certain degree. But it was always they're finding the teams when they do that. They're not finding the player. They're finding the teams. They're finding the management. They're finding everybody else when this happens. So it was never the players. Sports and science showed up in the last 10 years, and that this is when the thing went crazy.
I will say this. When you think about competitors in the league, right? There are certain times, maybe the last 25 games, where, let's say, and I'm not going to use LeBron. Let's say the Knicks and Cleveland are number 1 and 2, where they play each other at the end of the year. Obviously, that's a big game. And obviously, those 2 teams are not going to play their best players. That is an exception to why somebody would sit out who's healthy. Why? Because you don't want them to have film. You don't want those guys to get used to your system or your whatever. But during the regular season, these games, do you think Steph and the Warriors go, yeah, we're playing the Kings in 2 weeks in December. Just none of us are going to play. You think a player can tell a coach that? It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, in 2 weeks, we're not going to play that game because we don't want them to have film about plays we're not even going to run in the playoffs. That's not even a playoff. We don't run the same plays during the regular season as you do.
What are you talking about?
The last 25 games. What I'm saying is players don't have, I'm repeating what you're saying, players don't have the amount of say-so to just sit games like that because a coach's job is on the line also.
Adam Silver said the data doesn't support it. Who was giving the data? It wasn't the players. The players weren't giving the data. It was, first of all, when I showed up, again, I understand I got drafted in 2020, in 2001. Your damn came too early. Nice try though. My point is this, is that there was one trainer and you might have an assistant trainer who also was the equipment manager. That's it. That was it. So young players didn't even get on the table. Then fast forward, you have 2 massage therapists. You have 10 people in the training room, right? To give every single thing. And it's a great amenity, but the fucking goal is to get them on the court. Yeah. That's why you have all of these amenities, not to be like, well, I'm looking at your data and based off of my Stanford degree, it says that you've been playing a lot. And once we risk the high level of injury because of that, shut up. I get tired of this, bro. And it's like you get a young player that gets drafted and he's like, well, look, my team is telling me that based off of this data, man, They were the worst thing that have ever happened to this league. The sports and science data, not the sports and science people, the people that are out there to help the players get on the court. They're great. The people that are trying to get the players off the court because of load management and numbers and data and analytics, those are the worst thing that have happened to basketball in the last 50 years.
Does there need to be any tweaks to the 65-game rule?
No. Not currently.
I would say this.
Not currently.
Do you think the 65-game rule kept
Joel
someone?
Embiid's case or somebody who is actually hurt, that does not count. I don't know what the rule is. That does not count towards their. If Joel Embiid comes back and continues to barbecue the league, I think he should still be allowed to be in the running for MVP. That is when you get surgery on something, I think you still should be allowed to play.
Yeah,
not to play, but to be in the running.
Yeah, agreed. But this is the point, and we all know this, right? How many MVPs have played X amount of games? Joel Embiid naturally would have, based off the way he played. Yeah. Don't forget Jokic's first MVP. Embiid got hurt. LeBron they were the number 1 seed. Then he got his ankle rolled on. Damn, Solomon Hill, bear down. So he rolls on his ankles, and then LeBron gets out of it. Then there was already fatigue with Giannis. Jokic deserved it, but if you would have looked at 2 months to go in the season, he was probably 3rd or 4th. Right, he's probably 3rd or 4th, and then he, catapulted it into the running. I would say kind of like a Kawhi Leonard right now. Yeah. If Kawhi Leonard finished strong, then he can boost into
Kawhi
it.
Above SGA? Just curious.
No, I don't. I don't have Kawhi above SGA, and this is why. They added Kawhi's playing healthy, he's playing great, outstanding. No question.
This take.
Yeah, no question.
Did somebody ask this question?
No.
I heard.
No, but I just don't think that. I don't think that for the success that the Clippers have, they've kind of been in this range before over this stretch. They just haven't been healthy before, like for the entire season. Yeah. SGA is the sole. He is the sole focal point. I would put him as like a Jokic on that team. Yeah. When you look at Kawhi, even though he hasn't had a night off, he's got Paul George. He's got James Harden going for 30 and hitting 4-pointers and it is not like a Luka that has the ball in his hands every single time and is dependent on it. So Kawhi can win the MVP, but I don't think he's. The reason why I would put Shea above him is because you take Shea off that team. That team's not even in the postseason. You take Kawhi off that team with Paul George, with the rest of the guys. They're 6. They're a postseason team. So just adding James Harden does a lot.
Where do you have Giannis? I'm very curious.
Fuck, not right now. No, but he knows this. His MVPs came after he won 60 games. Right? So if he's looking around and being like, yeah, my numbers and data, but we know that the league's defense has been fucking atrocious all year long. So it's like, you can't even base it off his numbers.
Will the Kings finish in the top 6?
Yes. Yeah.
Why do you need them to make a move? They're 5th right now at 29-20. The Suns are freaking, rolling, but they're right behind them. And so that would push them to 6.
I'll be honest.
Pelicans are right there as well.
De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, I don't think they're very talented. This is just the truth. I don't think they're explosively talented. I think Sabonis is going to give you, and I'm going to be gentle in the playoffs, 15-12, 16-12. But it's not like you're going to get a game where you go, Sabonis won us this game. You also have to look at who the fuck you got to play. And those other teams have explosive scoring, right? They are a great team during the regular season. I think they need one more talented scoring piece to give them that extra boost. It's just what I think. Yeah. I think Harrison Barnes is solid. I think you're not looking at Harrison Barnes to get you 30 in the playoffs. Like, JR's had moments where you were like, oh shit, JR has 26, and then the next game he may have 2, but it's exactly what we need. I think that's what they need. And I think Malik Monk can do that. I don't know if he can do that by himself.
They don't have enough. And again, what's their goal? It all depends on what
do you mean?
They don't have it. I'm saying like last year.
First round. They don't have enough
no. Last year was a special year. I think they were like top 2 or 3 in the league in scoring, but also in least amount of games missed due to injury. Yeah. Right. They were primarily healthy throughout the entire season, and they've been healthy for the most part this season. But I look at it as like, they are one player away from being like a contender in the West, but like they have the they have the, and it's the same way. OKC needs more. OKC needs more. Sure. OKC needs more. They will run you out the gym. They'll do this, but the postseason basketball that they're doing right now, I think they need another
Say
big.
this, Josh Giddey better get that jumper right because he gonna be butt naked.
No,
over.
but hear me out. Let me just say this. If you gave OKC the bigs that the Clippers have, Daniel Tice, Mason Plumlee, and Zubac.
Oh.
They are maybe the best team in the league.
I don't think it's close.
That's what I'm saying. They're missing.
God, that's a lot.
No, but I'm saying it's like what I'm saying is all three of
about
those.
PJ
No.
Washington?
But I'm saying all three of those players aren't these like huge, dominant, like, oh, we got an all-star, we got this. No, like they picked up Daniel Tice off the street, right? Then Zubac's been there forever.
Big Zoo.
And then Plumlee. So I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of it's like you don't need a lot. You just need players and like that can do the things at their position. And the Clippers have that. That's why the Clippers, they got all the perimeter, they got the bench, they got the big depth. Like OKC doesn't have any big depth. And if they did have that, they would be the Clippers. They would be Boston. And so when we say that OKC needs more, it's from they have a serious deficiency. Remember when the Lakers didn't have shooting, and it's like this team needs shooting to go further, right?
Still need shooting.
Well, they just need people to shoot better.
Trash.
Stop it. I have two more thoughts and then we can wrap this up. But every time you say puncher, the word punch, I think of what was that? Dick Puncher?
Dick Puncher?
What game is
World
that?
of Warcraft?
World of Warcraft.
You know, people still to this day would be like, Dick Puncher, and I'm like, please don't yell at me in the airport. Please don't yell Dick Puncher.
In the airport?
Yeah, I live in Portland. You know, people are weird.
That's why you live there.
Love
This
it.
is also
Channing and I were talking before you got here, Richard, about Kyrie.
Yeah.
What do you have, 35, 36 last night back in Brooklyn? There just seems, I don't know, from afar, I follow the Mavs sideline reporter, Leslie, love her to death. And there just seems to be a different aura. I've watched interviews that he's done with her. And last night, his post-game interview. Is there something different?
There's
Is
definitely
it-
something different with Kyrie, but I think it's his energy.
Yeah, it's the energy.
Yeah, and I
Why are we
think
using these words just for Kyrie?
no, we're no,
His
no,
aura,
we're not. No,
his
she, I
energy?
know his
I'm an
energy.
energy
No,
person.
Wait,
I'm 100%. My life
yeah,
number
I'm
is
saying,
3.
I'm
an
saying his
Aquarius.
approach.
I got my, what is this
That boy
called?
got the right rain stick going.
Friendship bracelet.
His approach
Oh, yeah.
I
has
love
been.
it. I love it.
Yeah, but I
do.
think in Dallas there's
Is it the team he's on? Is it the system
I think-
he's in? Is it?
yes, all
Have
of the
they
above.
figured something out?
Chanel bracelets?
No, we got our
Right,
friendship bracelets this
Cartier?
week.
Are those Cartier
Kelsey
or
and I
Chanel?
did, and I got my anyways. Talking
Okay.
about energies, stones.
You're distracting her.
my eagle.
No, Kyrie, man, I'm happy for Kyrie. You just you know what Kyrie wants? Kyrie wants to play basketball and go home. That's all he wants. He doesn't want people
He wants
to
to help the community.
No, but I'm
Yes,
saying that.
100%.
Yeah, 1,000%.
ayahuascas
But
a year.
but it's ayahuasca. But what I'm saying is that
It's different.
he just wants to just be a basketball player and then go about his business, right? Like that's it. All of the other extra stuff, I just don't think he has interest in it.
Yeah.
But
I also think when that big stuff happened, everyone was uber aggressive. And I think Kyrie is just always going to be Kyrie. And at some point you just go, all right, if I want to pay attention to that, I will. And if I don't, I don't. There's other stories around. But I think being in Brooklyn, when all that went down, that was him, KD, James Harden, it's a different environment. I think he's also older. His kids are older. He got his own shoes. Like a lot of things have changed where he's like, I'm fully who I want to be right now. And at the end of the day, there's no pressure on him. If they lose, it's not his fault. If they win, oh my God, Kyrie, great job. If they lose, it's like, well, Luka, what didn't you do?
Yeah.
And it's just the truth. And so it's freedom of mind allows him to just be who he wants.
Yeah. I love it. All right. I just wanted to wrap up with, obviously, when this podcast is released, it is the day of Kobe Bryant and his statue unveiling in downtown LA. And obviously, we are here in LA. You guys both played against Kobe, and I thought it'd be kind of cool, fun to share your favorite memory going against Kobe.
Oh, God.
Do you guys even have favorite memories, or would that be on Kobe's
no, I'll
side?
tell you this. I have.
You've guarded him, right?
Yeah. As a
I
rookie.
too. You always kept finding me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hide.
That's called seeking the weak.
I've told this story before, and for the new listeners, I'll say it. I have one Kobe story, and it was.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
No, I've said this before. So my parents are both from Philadelphia, right? Mom, stepdad, they're both from Philly. They lived there for a short amount of time. So they're Philly people, hardcore. So my parents were out for a game. We're playing the Lakers. Luke's on the team. Devin George, Kareem Rush, all those guys. They're on the team. And after the game, my parents, we're sitting there in the little tunnel, and my parents are like, hey, can we meet Kobe? And we had just won. So I'm like, fuck. I was like, I don't. And so I go to like Luke and Devin and those guys, and I'm like, hey, and it's mom and dad. Like you got, like if they ask for something, you guys, mom and dad. So and I understand it's not from oh, he's Laker Kobe Bryant. It's like, no, he's a Philly guy, like them. The OG Philly. And so so all of those guys come out of the locker room, and my parents talking to him, and I'm like, hey, my parents would like to meet Kobe, and they're just like, ooh, like the whole group of them. So I'm like,
because
damn.
of the loss.
Well, because of the loss, and then
And
they it's going on just like
Grouchiest after loss.
So I'm like, damn. I'm like, yeah, he was young, he didn't give a shit. I was like, damn. I was like, all right. So I go track my ass over to Kobe, who's 15 feet away, and I'm like a fucking kid. I'm like, hey, Kobe, man, like, sorry to bother you, bro, but like my parents are from Philadelphia. They just really like to meet you and say hello. He comes over and has like a 5-minute conversation. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Like what high school you went? Oh, okay, yeah, we did. He was the best. And like, again, I don't have a lot of Kobe stories. That's just one where I was very appreciative. He didn't know me from shit. His own teammates were afraid to ask for me, so I had to go do it. And it was just, and what's even crazy about it is that my boy's birthday is January 24th, January 25th. He passed on the 26th. My parents were there to celebrate my boy's birthdays. So they were in town. So when that news hit, we were all together as a family. And it was just like that much more devastating, because it wasn't just me waking up, sending the kids to school and checking my phone. It was like my parents were there and I had to go to work. So it just made it it just became a much bigger deal in our family, right? Because of that, and that day, because they were all there, and it was there for a celebration. And I was like, kids, we're not going to Dave & Buster's today. Our daddy's got to go. And so that's my one Kobe story. I don't have a lot, but.
That's awesome, though. That's special.
We had the same major. Yeah. We had the same major. So we went to dinner a couple times, and then, just seeing him around. And so like, I don't know why, but I was like him and Tim Duncan, KG, you obviously had to be, ready to go. But I remember we were playing them, and I was kind of cooking the Lakers. I said something, and I was feeling it. And I was like, man, he said something like, who gonna guard this dude? I mean, shut up, bitch. Right? But like, he goes, hey, Channing. He goes, Jay, don't let me talk to Karen and Tom. So he knew my parents' names. So I was like, my face went from like, hey, man, shut up, bitch. Like saying something.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, my bad.
That's amazing.
I was like, hey, my bad. I didn't know that was you, my bad. Because I think it was like Goran and, God, I forgot his name now, hated each other. And then he stepped in. And I was like, man, shut up, man. And he was like, hey, don't make me tell Karen and Tom. And I was like, shit, okay, my bad.
Hey, I got a Chandler Parsons story.
Make me tell your mom.
Yeah, I know, right? I got a Chandler Parsons story. So we're in Dallas, right? And this was after Kobe. I think he might have had some injuries and he was coming back, but he wasn't Kobe anymore, right? He wasn't that everyday monster that we had known. And so Chandler Parsons starts cooking, right? And we're just talking shit. We're on the bench. We don't give a shit. We're just like, yeah, Chandler, cook his ass, Chandler. Cook his ass, Chandler. That's what I'm talking about. So we're on the offensive end. I think Chandler hits a corner three. Kobe's guarding him. It wasn't just like a catch and shoot. And like on the way back down, we're like, yeah, Chandler, cook his ass, right? And so just to start some shit. And so like Kobe goes down and hits the three. They're both running back. Chandler's looking at our bench. Guys, will you stop it? Guys, seriously, stop. And we're dying over there because Kobe could hear, and like, they were literally in front of our bench. Chandler hits it over Kobe. It wasn't any big deal, but we're just talking shit on the way down. Instead of we trying to hype up Chandler, and instead of hyping him up, Chandler come back, man, guys, stop. And Kobe's standing right next to him because we went back.
Fear.
Yeah, it's stand back. And he's like, guys, stop. It's not because he knows if Kobe goes that level, there's nothing anybody can do. And there's lots of guys like that. And Kobe's not the only one. LeBron's that way. Steph's that way. There's a lot of guys that are like that. D Wade, Dame Lillard. There's certain guys if they just was all right.
That's enough.
That's right. That's right. And so
That's hilarious.
That hurts your heart when you're like, man, I'm doing so good. And they were like, yeah, we need to win this game now. Boom. And you're like, well, we were just up 12. Why are we down 14?
Dude,
now?
and I learned
I'm not good.
one of my funny young guy stories when I was a young player. I had a guy named Michael Korn. He was my coach every single day. That was my brother. I owe so much to him.
Is he related to Jimmy Crackmore?
Yeah, he is actually. They're both from Jersey. He played in North Carolina. Anyways, so he tells me this story, right? He tells me the story about the first time he played against George Gervin, right? Shout out to Iceman. We don't get a lot of George Gervin stories. Bro, I'm saying it was he was an old guy. Anyways, okay. So he goes, yeah, so the first time I'm playing against George Gervin, I want to get all into his body. I want to I'm locked in on defense. And George Gervin in the middle of the play takes the ball and goes like this. He's up in his body. He goes, now, young fella, I wasn't planning on going tonight, but if you want me to, and he goes, in that moment, I took 2 steps back and just did some basic defense. And it was George Gervin was one of those guys. Gervin was one of those guys where he's like, listen, man, I was going to give you guys a cool 25. I'm going to get my average, but if you want me to, and he just was like, okay. Nah, I'm good. Because there's always these guys, and it just, in all sports, that just, George Gervin told him, listen, I wasn't planning on going tonight, but if you want me to, and that was all that needed to be said, and he understood that meant. He was like, we could just play basketball, but if you want to get into me and make a name and do this and say you beat George Gervin, I will give you all of George Gervin.
That was the same thing that happened to your cousin, Tobias, in Orlando. Weren't you on the team with them when Braun was in chill mode? He said it after, and Tobias messed with him.
It was in feet. Well, it happened twice.
He had to learn twice.
So one PJ, right? So we're guarding, we're doing good. I think it's Miami or we're at home. And Braun had missed his shot, right? And Deontay Christmas was at the bench. And I was on the bench too. And he was like, we live in, or that's what we want, right? So Braun got ears. He said, what? He said, all right. So our defensive coach goes, Shut the fuck up. So Braun and PJ looks at us, and I said, we were like, yeah. And then Braun did something crazy. You could see he started he was on 6 out of 10. He started to do that heavy stomping where he tried to block a shot and had no chance. And I said, he just warming up his knees. I said, he went to the same spot 6 times. Hiya! That's what y'all want? Hiya! T too little. Hiya! Poor PJ. PJ didn't catch all that.
Oh, yeah.
And then Tobias said something, or maybe it bumped him.
Tobias, yeah.
Yeah, there's probably 25 guys. There's probably 25 guys in the history of the league that are just if you want me to, I will go.
Yeah.
Right? And it was just the beautiful thing about it is that's what's awesome about basketball is that it doesn't take much to just say hey, listen.
You know who's funny when they get like that is Kawhi. And I know we talked about him, but the other night he was talking shit and I watched the in-game feed and somebody said something to him or they fouled and he looked at him and he was like, give me the ball. And then he boop, bodied him up, dunked on this dude. I was like, yo, you outside.
He's legit Loki scary.
Nah. Kawhi,
Yes.
Kawhi seen that.
As in his ability to do that without saying a word.
Oh yeah. That yeah.
Do that
Yeah.
and then be excited. I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is done.
Yeah.
He only speaks in facts. 2 points on you.
Yeah, Kawhi's special.
NBA Jam.
Dude, so funny.
All right. You guys are amazing.
We
Channing,
know.
thank you for flying. Okay. Flying here just for this.
Yeah.
And obviously, we do want to remind you again, we're all wearing the gear because we love the Homage family.
Yes.
And so if you would like your own, homage.com/road trippin is where you can get it, find it, go get you some gear. All right. Thank you to Dennis and Kelsey
Yeah,
Thank
shout
you,
out.
guys.
I need a
for
nap
making this possible. For the
before
hungover
I go
Richard,
see the robot.
and for
Kawhi.
the spirited Channing. That's another edition of Road Trippin'.